I didn't realize the fact that it was on fire. I could smell something burning. All of a sudden, I feel all this beating in the top of my head. I said, "Oh shit, these Ku Klux Klans is loose."
Okay, here we are, back again. Uncle Carlton, feeling good, feeling fine. Sir, good to see you after all this time. Everybody missed you and asked about you, asked how you were feeling. And I told them that you'll be coming up here again soon, and here we are. How you doing?
My health-wise is good. I've just been aggravated with a lot of everyday BS. That's all I can say without going into details.
Yeah, I think we all know what you're talking about there. Well, let's go to put the BS aside and talk about the good times. Let's go back to Mr. Wilson Pickett.
All right. Yeah, I hit something here. We'll turn the camera around.
All right.
And see if you can view this picture.
Yes, very good. There we go. That's perfect right there. Perfect.
And that little fat guy standing on the trailer back there was Buddy Miles. He was our drummer.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, we see Buddy. Yeah, that very distinctively Buddy Miles.
Right. And let's see if I can get up close here. That's me up there on the top of the trailer.
Okay. That's good. Let's zoom out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
And this picture was taken in front of the Howard Theater in
Washington, D.C. Okay.
Right. Yeah, guess you could see that.
Yes, that's perfect. That's great. That's a nice. That's a nice car, by the way. How many times did it break down?
That was our trailer. That was. Would you believe all of us? That was a station wagon, and we pulled a U-Haul trailer, and all of us rode in that. I don't know if you could see the tail end over here, where Wilson and them are sitting at.
Okay.
But that's the Wilson rode in his Eldorado.
Okay. That tail end is his Eldorado. Okay.
Right. He had a driver and all that, and we had a driver. Let's see. I'm trying to get this stuff lined up. This guy, Baby James, he used to drive for James Brown. James Brown fired him, and Wilson Pickett hired him.
Okay. Well, he knew he had experience for sure.
Right, and these two white guys, well, let's see if I can get that lined up. We picked them up in Canada. Wally Racino and Bob Parkins. Wally was a second guitar player, and Bob Parkins was a piano player. Never took a bath.
What? He didn't bathe?
Bob Parkins never took a bath.
So he was a true originator of the funk, huh?
Right. Now, let me see.
Now, there's an interesting story about those two guys and Jimi Hendrix, right?
Who's that?
Those two gentlemen that you just showed us. There's a story where didn't they do some work on Jimi Hendrix at Electric Ladyland Studio?
No, that was. Let me see. Let me pull that picture up here. Find it. Oh, I have to go over here and get it. That was the guys that I played with, the Surfs.
Okay, the Surfs. Okay. I just want to get the story straight. Here we go. All right. So these gentlemen. Yeah.
That was Mike Finnegan. That's me, of course, in the middle. That's the drummer, Kenny B. Freddie Smith, and Larry Fawcett. Now, Larry Fawcett, Mike Finnegan, and Freddie Smith, they were the ones who did the work on the Jimi Hendrix Electric Ladyland. Now, that was after I left the group.
Okay.
To go out with Wilson Pickett.
So, okay. All right. That's great. So we are in the time zone. Okay, fantastic.
Let me keep with that story because we had a hit record. Well, they had a hit record after I left. There was a period there where the Surfs were trying to make it. I got pressure from my old lady to get a job, which I wasn't going to do. Wilson Pickett came through town. I joined Wilson.
Okay.
But the group, how that thing with the Surfs materialized with Mike and those guys. After I left the group and I'm out with Wilson, the record took off.
Okay.
They went to New York and they're walking through Electric Ladyland Studios, and Jimmy is in there cutting this tune, right?
Right.
And they just went in and started jamming. They turned on the tape, and the rest is history.
Wow. All right. Wow.
So I just missed Jimmy. That's one of the times I just missed Jimmy. I just missed Jimmy when I was playing with Wilson because when we got to New York, Buddy used to go and hang out at a place called The Scene. Buddy was a hippie at the time, okay?
Okay, so he was into the alternative kind of scene at that time.
I wasn't into that, bro. I was into the red suits and red shoes, and I was into total R&B. Bought all my suits just like Wilson Pickett and all that crap, you know. So, but I went and I hung out with him a couple of nights at this place called The Scene, which I felt very much out of the place. Steve Paul's Scene. Okay. And it was the hippie hangout, and I would just miss Hendrix. Either he had just been there or he came in after I left. Wow. Now, one night when I visited with Buddy to The Scene, we ran into who's this guy that made Tiptoe Through the Tulips? He became a big star. The Blues Project, I sat in with some of them guys.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips. You're talking about the guy on the little play
on the ukulele.
Ukulele, yeah.
But he was just a poor looking ass. He carried his ukuleles around in a shopping bag, and when the bands would take a break, he would go up and do his Tiptoe Through the Tulip thing. That Steve Paul Scene turned out to be a hell of a place in New York.
So Buddy's experience with Hendrix obviously started around that time. And how long did you...
Well, no, Buddy left us. Buddy left us in New York, and he went off with Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. We had played this big show. Oh, God. It's got a big story to it, man. I don't know if you ever heard of Murray the K, the disc jockey.
Yeah, of course. Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Well, Murray the K, this is when the first English groups had hit in the United States. Murray the K brought them over and had a 10-day show at, I believe it was the RKO. Okay. I had a poster of that thing. But anyway, Wilson Pickett was on that show.
Okay.
And we were supposed, that's when I first met Clapton. What's his name? Sir Peter Townsend, who he wasn't Sir then.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that was when the Who had out My Generation. We used to follow the Who, and all that smoke, that's when they were blowing up the amps and all of that.
Yeah.
I found all the tricks of the trade about that thing. And I used to ask Peter Townsend to give me the pickups out of the guitars. He used to give them to me. Well, come to find out, they were getting those guitars at pawn shops for that particular song, My Generation.
Okay, just cheap dummy guitars.
And those guitars that he would break up, man, the roadies would go back at the break for the next show, and they'd screw all those things back together. The damn things weren't even in tune. But the crowds were so loud in that theater that you couldn't tell the difference. And it's just when they started the thing off, oh, man, look, all those big amps they had up there, those big Marshalls, wasn't but one or two of them working. Those cabinets were all empty. They stuck flash powder. They used flash powder back in them days, and they would set it off backstage and all the smoke and stuff. And they are now. I've noticed here lately at these new concerts, cats ain't even using amps no more, man. They're going straight through the board, using amp sims.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I met I met all the Ginger Baker, the drummer, who stayed fucked up. The Rascals were on that show, and me and Felix Caballero, we had lunch together one day. I don't know. I'm trying to remember the name of this group, who actually became my producer on my record, Carmen Rael, who I met many years later. But that's where we met at. It's a long story, man. So we'll go back to where we were. Buddy left us in after that show. He went off with Mitch Ryder, Detroit Fields, and the next time we saw Buddy Miles, he was playing with the Electric Flag, I believe.
Okay.
Right after that, that's where he had his record, Them Changes, and he became a star himself.
Okay.
And it was right after that, then he got with Hendrix, the band, the Gypsies, and all that.
Yeah.
Right. But me and Buddy stayed friends. Well, as a matter of fact, the horn players that played on that on his Changes record actually were the horn players that came out of Sam and Dave's band.
Wow.
Two of which I had in Arthur Conley's band. Bobby Rock and Tatum.
Okay. So we've got to the point where Godwin Wilson is slowly starting to break into pieces. People are starting to move on and go to different places. When did you move on from Wilson Pickup?
I lost that gig, man. I lost it when we were at the Apollo Theater. There used to be a place between North and South Carolina called South of the Border. Okay. And we stopped there one night, and everybody bought pistols, and I took mine to New York, and we were in the Apollo Theater, and I decided I wasn't going to take my pistol with me. I put it under the mattress of the bed. Lo and behold, the maid found it. She turned it in, and I wound up in jail, and I lost that gig. When I got out, got in contact with Wilson. Well, he done already had a whole new band. Gave me my ticket back home. To wit, I wound up going back home to, let's see if I can find it. Going back home to my homeboys. I turned the thing back around here.
How many days did they give you in jail for that gun possession?
Going back home to my boys called the Smart Brothers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Right. And the Smart Brothers wound up owning their own nightclub. And they started bringing in acts. That's the first time that I met Ike and Tina Turner. I met Albert Collins, which I wound up knowing him until his death. Who else did they bring in? A whole bunch of other people. Then they brought in Arthur Conley. And I got lonesome for the road. Wait a minute, I'm trying to dig that up.
It's all right.
Yeah. So I got lonesome for the road, and again, my old lady was bugging me because the Smart Brothers weren't paying that much money. So then I became the band leader for Arthur Conley. You can see me over there.
Yep. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, this was taken in Boston, and I forget what the name of that club was. So anyway, let me get back around here. So anyway, I went up with Arthur Conley. Well, I had moved here to Atlanta, brought my family and everything, and I went out on the road after my wife got here and I got an apartment and everything with my kids. I went out on the road for 2 weeks, and back then we ain't have no cell phones, and hotel telephones cost a ton of money. Plus, we didn't have a phone at home. She had to use the phone downstairs. Long story short, when I came back off the road, my wife had taken 2 kids and shit and went back to Kansas.
Couldn't take
we
it
never
back
got
anymore.
back together again.
All right.
We never got back together again.
All right.
And I moved down to Macon. And that's when I became all part of the Capricorn crew down there, Capricorn Records. I knew the Allman Brothers and Marshall Tucker and all these guys, right? And
so let's
we
talk.
remained friends.
Let's talk about that period of time, because I think that's really super interesting. Because this is when you really started getting into songwriting.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, at that time, all the record companies were into trying to follow the Motown pattern and establish writing crews, right?
Right.
So I got into a writing crew with two of my friends, my ex road manager with Arthur Conley, and a cat named Jackie Avery, who has written many hits, man, for the Allmans and a whole bunch of people. And we formed a writing crew, and we actually wrote one of the songs that went on the Wilson Pickett "Don't Knock My Love" album, which I still get royalties for, thank goodness.
And so how did you feel about that, stepping into the role from just being a player, session player, to actually getting in there and writing? How did that affect you?
I've never ever considered myself a writer. Now I'm BMI, and I have 8 tunes listed with BMI. That's the extent of my catalog.
Okay. So that was just something. Yeah. Okay.
I've just never been interested in writing, in songwriting.
Okay.
And right to this day, I still write, but I ain't put nothing out there.
All right. So you really just love the being on stage, being in front of people. You don't want to live that studio life.
I'm a guitar player. I'm going to tell you, and this is why I'm not working now, and I still got friends out there that are working. I have never really enjoyed the stage. I have just enjoyed playing the guitar.
Wow.
But I've been able to bullshit so many people as being a guitar player that every time I make a move, I get paid and I keep moving up. And that calls me to be on stage.
One feeds the other.
The shit for being on stage. Yeah. I just like to play the guitar. That's what I am. I'm a guitar player.
Okay.
And a half-ass one at that, man.
I don't know about that, Uncle Carlton. I don't think there's very many people out there who call you, especially being in the Hall of Fame there. So you got to the point where you're working with Cap.
Look at this. This is what I got sitting next to my couch right now. And I just get up.
Gotcha.
And go over to the computer and start playing. Oh, shit, what did I do wrong?
It's all right.
I did something wrong.
You're all right. Your camera just went off.
I'm not all right.
Your camera just went off.
I know, the whole damn thing just, wait a minute, let me come back up here. God damn it, shit. I did something wrong here. Shit.
We're all right.
Damn it. All right, now I'm back.
You're back.
Okay. Yeah, now let me, I was trying to turn the camera back around. That's what I was trying. There we go. Okay.
So, Capricorn Records, so you're working down there. Let's take it from there.
Okay, so I was down there in Macon with all those people, I guess for about 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
And a gig came along with Clarence Carter. And I joined Clarence Carter. And
I've been stroking, huh?
Right. Well, he lived in Montgomery, Alabama at the time, so I just moved over to Montgomery, Alabama.
Right.
And consequently, what happened was Clarence was working off and on. The gigs weren't really coming all that much. But what happened was, there was a couple of things that happened. Number one, you ever heard of a group called Styx?
Of course.
Well, that guitar player, me and him actually played together at this little bullshit ass club out in the sticks there, and I'm talking about, it was bullshit. There was only two blacks in that band.
Okay.
He was one of them. Well, me and him were playing together then when Styx sent and got him. Well, the rest of his story, goes from there.
Yeah.
But what happened with me was I became very friendly with Prop Lyle at Alabama State University.
Okay.
Somehow or another, he decided I'm a genius and everything. Now, mind you, I didn't even graduate from high school. But Prop Lyle decided that he was going to help me get into Alabama State. He enrolled me into Washington High School. I got that, what you call that, that high school
GED.
Equivalency.
GED.
He got me my GED. I got that in 6 weeks. And I'm a veteran. And I put everything in his hands. Somehow he arranged it through my VA program and enrolled me into Alabama State.
Okay.
I was a music major, and I took 3 classes a week. I took conducting and...
Are you talking about Tommy Shaw? You're talking about Tommy Shaw?
Yeah, Tommy Shaw. Yeah. Well, anyway, I would like to run into him today to see how... Well, I know how he wound up. I don't think he would even know me if he saw me.
Oh, I don't know, man. You'd be surprised.
Back his memories. I would bring back his memories without a doubt.
Right.
Because we had an incident one night. Like I say, this is the equivalent of a biker bar, a KKK bar.
Okay.
And I was always scared to go out there.
I'm with you already. Let's go.
But anyway, one night I'm plugging in my amplifier, and I had Afro Sheen in my Afro, right?
Yeah.
And I bent over to plug in my amplifier, and I lit a lighter, and my hair caught on fire. All of a sudden, I didn't realize the fact that it was on fire. I could smell something burning. All of a sudden, I feel all this beating in the top of my head. I said, "Oh shit, these Ku Klux Klans is this." Beating the fire out of my head. I'm telling you, I don't get this shit.
That's funny.
Well, no, I ain't gonna put that out there. Yeah, shit.
You don't edit yourself.
No,
we come this far.
I had some more incidents out there. I ain't gonna put that out there.
All right.
Shit. So anyway, I enrolled in Alabama State. I was taking conducting, advanced harmony, and theory. And I had some teeth. I took upper brass, which I played a little trumpet, which because I hadn't even thought of trying to even get into percussion or drums. I had drums was all the way out of my head then, But anyway, I was there for about a semester and a quarter. I'll tell you what happened. When I discovered it was going to take me at least 7 years, pretty much, because see, Pop Lyle had talked me into this, and I'm thinking about, okay, I go to college, and I can actually wound up in Berkeley, and go, go to the conservatory.
Yeah.
But when I looked around and looked at this shit, man, it was going to take me 7 years to do that shit. I didn't have that kind of time. Not only that, I was making $700 at the average then. $700 a week out on the road with all these different artists, right?
Right.
Uncle Sam was paying me $700 a month and all my tuition. And I wasn't making shit playing with Tommy and them, man, about like $50 a night. I missed the road and let me see if I can pull it together here. And I missed traveling. Shit, damn it. I can't find that picture.
So Papa was a rolling stone. He just didn't want to stay in one spot.
Well, and I was missing the money.
Right.
I was missing the money, and I was missing the travel. I can't find that picture now. But there was a group that came from Atlanta that came through there called the Black Haze Express. And they were playing everything I wanted to play. Damn, I wish I could find that picture, man. We were actually wound up being the sixth sister group and being booked by the same lady that was booking the Commodores. Now, I can't even find the damn picture.
So we're talking about the Bar-Kays.
No, I don't have it. No, the Commodores.
No, the group you were talking about.
The Commodores were being, as I was at Alabama State,
Okay.
the Commodores were being formed over in Tuskegee. Now,
Okay.
I played through the summer with one little college band that we had in Montgomery. And actually, our drummer was going to Tuskegee, and we used to go over and pick him up. Now, the Commodores at that time were being formed, but I don't know if anybody knows anything about Tuskegee. Tuskegee University is a very accredited black university, HBUC, but there it's isolated, okay? The only place those college kids had to come to hang out was in Montgomery.
Okay.
And there was a little college club where all of us used to go. The kids from Tuskegee used to come over. It was called The Roof. We used to have college jam sessions. Long story short, I became, I don't know if anybody knew about the early stages of the Commodores, but they were a show band. They were a singing group. I don't know if you ever heard of that black disc jockey, Tom Joyner.
Of
Tom
course.
Joyner used to sing in that. Tom Joyner used to sing in that group. They were a show band.
Well, I didn't know that
And
about
they
Tom
actually-
Joyner sang the early version of the Commodores. Wow, that's wild.
Right. They were a show band. They were a singing group and a show band. And Walter Orange, the drummer, Clyde, he was the main singer. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to actually be truthful with you. I don't know where in the hell, what's his name came
Lionel
from.
Richie.
What's his name? I don't remember Lionel Richie being in that group.
You obviously
Well,
came around at some point. It's a little bit misty with me as well. As I researched the Commodores, his entrance into the band and his influence is a little strange. So, yeah, there's something there.
Right. It is. And I don't think it, well, let me continue on. Because I saw them later on in life, but me and Walter Orange, Clyde, are still friends to this day. You know, that's what we used to call him, Clyde. But his name is Walter Orange. He's the drummer.
Right.
And we're friends to this day. Every time I get a chance to go see him, you know, I go see him and hey man, what up, Clyde, and all that kind of stuff. Now they've got this English cat in the group that they got now. You know, there's only 3 of them now, and they are still working. They're working Vegas and lounges and shit like that. I don't know where this English dude came in, but I met him, you know. No, that's the only 3. As a matter of fact, this keyboard player that I had living with me that stole one of my keyboards and ran off. He wound up playing with this new version, man. I ran into him. Well, anyway, this is way on down the line. So anyway, we used to go and jam together at this place on the roof. So I knew them all very well, you know. And like I said, I still don't know where Lionel Richie came from.
Right.
So yeah, after that I went off with the Black Haze Express.
That's what I'm talking about. The Black Kays, that sounds awful lot like the Bar-Kays.
No. The Black Haze Express, man. And actually, these dudes, I have to give you a little background on them. Keyboard player and the drummer started, the keyboard player was from Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Drummer was from San Francisco. Mm-hmm. They went up to Anchorage, Alaska, and were up there for 5 years. They came back down, settled in San Francisco. Then they moved from San Francisco to Atlanta, where the rest of the band got put together.
Okay.
And when I met them, they were needing a guitar player.
Okay.
So I joined them. We moved to Mobile, Alabama. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Papa Don Schroeder. He was a producer.
Okay.
He had James and Bobby Purify, people like that. Well, anyway, we signed with him. He fucked us around so damn bad. There was this guy. I'm bringing this down real short, man.
No,
we got this guy from Birmingham, Alabama, named Mac. I'm trying to remember what Mac Burnett. He was a semi-pro professional baseball player. He had a club in Birmingham, and he saved us from Papa Don Schroeder. We actually left in the middle of the night, man, and went to move to Birmingham.
Wow. Wow.
Long story short on that one was, well, there's no long story on that. I spent 5 years living in Birmingham, Alabama, playing 6 nights a week in Matt's Club. Also got engaged with the Moon Song Productions. Moon Song Productions at that time, we were a growing production company. Frederick Knight, that used to write up in Stax Records, came over to Moon Song. I'm trying to remember this guy's other name, who wrote "Just Be My Lady" for Larry Graham.
Okay.
He was a writer there. We were the studio band. We were an up-and-coming production company. We almost got a production deal with Atlantic Records, but it all centered on one chick that they wanted. And we had a stable of artists, man. We had a stable of about 6 artists. But the whole deal with Atlantic centered on this one chick. I mean, they flew her up to New York. They wined her, dined her, and everything. She came back down, and she would not sign. She just wanted to sing gospel, and that blew the whole fucking deal.
Wow.
That just fucked everybody up. Black Haze Express started falling apart after that. Well, I know I left, and I joined Millie Jackson. Millie flew me up to New York, and whammo, I'm in the middle of it again, bro. When I get up to New
All right, we're going to stop.
When I get up to New York, I fell into it. I met Billy Nichols, the guy who wrote "Do It Till You're Satisfied" for Pt2 Express, and shouted out for Pt2 Express. He wrote "Ask Me What You Want" for Millie. His name is Billy Nichols. I'm still his friend today. We talked the other day. But long story short, I got in with Billy Nichols. I got in with Millie's producer. Long story short, I just became a part of Spring Records.
All right,
I was doing all their demo work for them.
I think let's stop here, Uncle, because this is a good natural stop here. Because the next time that we take this up, we've been going on.
It's just getting ready to get good, bro.
Yeah, well, I sense that because we're getting up to the point where we're getting there where I think we're going to have a lot of traction on, leading up to you working some of the more interesting.
That's where I found out about the music business, getting in New York in the 70s and 80s.
All right, so we're going to stop here. The next time we take this up, we will start from you starting to work for Miss Millie Jackson.